Hello, everyone. I am Mr. Frisco, and this is my podcast. And before we embark on this exciting journey together, click on the subscribe icon to join my podcast to stay updated on all our Frisco real estate and social news. So today on my podcast, Frisco April housing market insight. My guest today will be Justin Drabek, architect and owner of Textures Design Studio, and I will talk about Frisco Heritage Museum, which is preserving and the past and shaping the future.
Meet Mr. Frisco, a realtor selling residential real estate in Frisco and far North Dallas. As a former professional athlete, track and field, and strength and conditioning coach, Mr. Frisco immigrated to the USA 20 years ago with $50 in his pocket, a suitcase, and zero English to pursue the American dream and build a successful real estate business. Hardworking, persistent, customer service, and detail-oriented, Mr. Frisco strives to secure a smooth closing on his client's biggest investment, their home. He puts his experience and knowledge to serve his clients the best way possible. Building his business by referral allows him to maintain relationships with his clients and serve them even after the transaction is closed. This is Frisco Realty News with Mr. Frisco.
So, let's take a look on Frisco housing market. The real estate market in Frisco, Texas, for pre-owned homes has seen notable shifts in April 2023, with key indicators reflecting both stability and change. So, in Frisco housing market, key trends are emerging that showcase both growth and stability. The median price for existing homes in Frisco during April saw a significant increase, climbing by 1.8% compared with the same time of the last year, and now resting at $693,000. In just a month, price surged by 4.5%, reflecting the demand for housing in the area. While pricing soared, inventory levels also saw a notable expansion. This April, there were 72.8% more homes on the market compared to the previous year, with 387 homes available for purchase. Also, inventory spiked by 14.5% between March and April, indicating a growing supply to meet the increasing demand. Home sales in Frisco showed a remarkable surge, up by 26.5% from the prior year, with 205 homes finding new owners in April. This rise was even more pronounced at 34.8% when compared to March, suggesting an active and flourishing market. The median days on the market remained consistent at 9 days since last year, signaling a stable environment for home sales. Additionally, the time it takes to sell a home in April mirrored the data from March, showcasing a consistent pace in the market. Focusing on the pending home sales, the numbers tell a promising story. April exhibited at a 12.3% increase in pending sales year over year, with 228 homes in the pipeline to close. And compared to the previous month, pending sales escalated by an impressive 21.9%, highlighting a positive shift in market dynamics. With all positive indicators, the month supply on the market in Frisco set at 2.4 months in April, indicating a robust sellers market. And while still favoring sellers, there was a slight increase from the previous month, showing a potential shift in the balance between supply and demand. Overall, Frisco's housing market is witnessing a blend of growth and stability, with increasing price, expanding inventory, robust sales, and promising pending sales figures. These trends collectively paint a picture of market that continues to remain active and active to both buyers and sellers alike. And now let me introduce you to my guest, Justin Drabek, architect and owner of Texture Design Studio. Hey, Justin, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Good. You finally found the tower, yes?
I did. It took a minute to get here, but I did find it.
Okay. The most important, you here. Welcome to my podcast.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So I introduced like a owner and of the Texture Studio.
Texture Design Studio.
Texture Design Studio. Is that correct? You're the owner?
Yep.
Okay, great. And you're an architect?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So we launched our studio about four-ish kind of years ago, but it's been a fun ride. So it's really exciting to kind of do. We sort of specialize in sort of that cohesive element between architecture and interior design. So I'm sort of an architect by trade, and I have an architecture license and sort of from that discipline, but I've also spent sort of the breadth of my career in more or less interior type projects. So we kind of span that gap nicely.
Okay. Architect, was that your childhood dream? How did you get an architect?
That's a good question. And, you know, I don't know, it's a complicated answer, I guess you could probably say too. The short answer I like to give people is my dad was more or less kind of a fix-it guy, and he had a business where he worked with restaurants and kind of did some of the labor portions, the construction portion of it. And then my mom was more or less had a very artistic, creative kind of outlet. So I like to tell people I'm sort of a blend of my two parents, as we all tend to be. But yeah, so that's kind of how I sort of found my way into the profession. But yeah, I've always sort of sketched and loved sort of thinking in 3 dimensions and things like that. And I feel like it's come more or less natural to me throughout the career.
Yeah, it takes creative thinking to be an architect.
It does.
For sure. Not only thinking, you gotta have a talent, to draw and paint. And do you paint, by the way?
I've painted a little in my time. I find as I get older, I have less and less free time to do some of those fun activities that I liked to do when I was younger. But yeah, I love sort of that creative outlet that architecture gives you. It's really creating a machine. I always like to say that what we're doing is, if you're designing a house, you're creating a machine for living, but there's also this sculptural kind of beautiful aspect to it that you can't ever turn your back on. It's definitely something that's important and kind of at the forefront when we design.
Okay. Well, I'm a realtor, and everything, with the real estate, architectures are there. All the architects are there, They're involved in each house, and you like layout or you don't, that's the architect to blame. Why the heck he does
absolutely
that layout, but you're the guys that you do that. What you focus more, commercial or residential or both?
So right now we're about 50-50. We do about 50% commercial, 50% residential. We've got some larger developments that we're doing in Las Colinas. Aberdeen is a new development that we're doing there. That's about 70 to 73 single family houses. So we're doing that. We also do a lot of restaurants. We've done a handful of different restaurants in airports and some just kind of more boutique type restaurants. But yeah, that's sort of the bread and butter. Although I do like to say that we really enjoy kind of getting these random calls where somebody says, hey, we want to do a English style tea room, or we want to do a fitness center from shipping containers. And, both of those are projects that we've gotten phone calls from in the past. And, we jump in and try to see what we can do to meet the client's needs and kind of have a creative outlet to do that.
So actually you work on houses from, let's say, from scratch, and you do as well, like some people would like to change their layout or add some room or
Sure.
redo the room?
Sure, we'll do some renovations. We don't take those on as much as we have in the past. We sort of like to usually start with kind of a fresh, clean sheet of paper and talk to clients and sort of get their vision of what they want for a house, and then kind of arrive at that. I always like to tell clients it's to sort of brace for this idea that it's a creative process, and we don't always have a clear vision of where we're going when we start. Right. So you have to sort of trust that process of going through the right steps. I always like to tell clients you have to go slow to go fast. Right.
Yeah.
And the going slow part is sort of at that beginning stage where you kind of find those elements of what is important to you, what your constraints are, what the things that would really knock it out of the park would be. And then you kind of follow that path forward. But it can be nerve-wracking when you don't sort of have a really clear vision of, oh, I want it to look exactly like this Pinterest image or exactly like this photo that I found online. We tend to not be great at doing those type of projects. We are a lot better at doing those projects where the client comes to us and says, we want this really beautiful house. Here's some ideas of beautiful houses, but we want something unique to us.
All right. So what actually was your most exciting project that you got really excited that you get it and you get it done?
Oh man, there's a lot of really good little projects that we've done in the past. So we have a great client that we work with right now that does they do restaurants for retired celebrity athletes. So we get to go in and sort of find that vision of really sort of telling the story of this person's career, right? We've done some work for Simone Biles in a restaurant that's in the George Bush Airport. We've done some for Dirk Nowitzki and DFW, and we're looking at doing some other kind of celebrity athletes. I don't know how many names I can sort of throw out, but you know, it's really fun to kind of dive into some of these clients that are, one, really unique, but two, are sort of I'm sort of a fan. So I have to kind of put that aside and say, okay, well, this is really great. I've watched Simone go through her career. I've watched, Dirk Nowitzki kind of win his national champion or his championships. So it's great to kind of take that and take that idea of being a fan and start to distill that into, okay, what are the important things about Dirk? What are the important things about Simone? And try to bake that into a design, right? And a lot of these athletes, one thing that we struggle with or we see as sort of a challenge is this idea of movement, right? Because all of these athletes, they're highly movable, highly motion, athletes in what they're doing. So we're trying to take that and put it into sort of a stagnant building or a stagnant design. And so we're trying to find ways of using curvilinearity and different things like that to sort of emulate that motion that you get with some of these athletes.
Oh, that's very interesting. So you're a fan of Luka Doncic now?
Oh yeah, he's great. I've been watching him. It's been a lot of fun sort of watching the Stars and then watching the Mavs. It's like every day is a playoff day.
Yeah,
which is
good
great.
year for Dallas
It's amazing.
sports. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Dallas teams, great.
Yeah.
So what's your dream project?
Oh my gosh, dream project. That's a tough. It's a tough cookie to put my finger on. I think, there's. I don't know if I could just say like this or that would be my dream. You really have to have great clients to sort of have a great project. So I think probably I would say like, okay, I want a great client that has sort of enough fee to do what his or her vision is, but also sort of enough sort of creativity or allowing us sort of that creative outlet to sort of bring in the fun, right? We've done, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Meow Wolf or are you familiar with Meow Wolf?
Mm-hmm.
But those sort of creative elements I think are so much fun to kind of go in and be part of. And And a lot of clients are sort of asking for some of these really out there things, right? It's not sort of the traditional house, not the traditional, let's say Airbnb, but like this really unique, interesting Airbnb that is like a Barbie home or like a G.I. Joe, fort or something. So those kind of projects that are really creative, I think could be great. But, I'll let the client come up with the big picture idea and we want to help them sort of develop it. Right.
All right. So no skyscraper in your...
skyscrapers would be great. I think museums are really this quintessential thing that a lot of sort of premier architects will kind of find their way into sort of a museum, a beautiful museum like the Nasher or something, the Modern downtown or the Modern in Fort Worth downtown. So, those kind of projects I think are beautiful statement projects that you can kind of spend your whole career trying to get to. But yeah, I think we're happy doing stuff even on a small scale that's just really creative. We just enjoy doing that kind of work.
All right. Well, the last question is where now? From now, where you go?
Where do we go?
Yeah. What's the plan?
So, from a business perspective, we sort of started small. There's a couple of us right now. There's 2 or 3, and we have a few people on contract. But, I think the idea is to start growing in momentum with getting some great clients that are really dedicated to us. And then doing that, we'll kind of be able to pull in bigger and better projects, bigger and better talent in terms of other architects and designers to support us, and just kind of grow and do what we do.
All right. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, where and how?
Sure.
They can find you.
The easiest way is going to our website. It's texture-studio.com. So I would encourage people to kind of go through our website, take a look at what we do and sort of how we've done it and some of the clients that we've worked with in the past. There's a contact page on that website if you want to go there and type in your email and hit send. Or we also think have an email address or phone number there. And feel free to get in touch with us, and we'd love to work with you guys and have some new clients and create some new relationships.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Good luck with business and your personal life and the next dream project.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for attending. So let's talk about the Frisco Heritage Museum, located in Frisco, Texas, celebrates the city's rich history and community spirit. This museum, part of the larger Frisco Heritage Center, offers a journey through the time with its unique exhibits and interactive experiences. The Heritage Center is a village with several historic buildings, each representing different eras of Frisco's history. This preserved and restored building allowed visitors to experience the town as it once was. Upon entering the museum, visitors encountered exhibits showing Frisco's evolution from a small rural town to a thriving community. Artifacts, photographs, and documents illustrate the city's growth and transformation. The museum's interactive exhibit engage visitors by allowing them to dress in period costumes, operate vintage machinery, and explore historic schoolhouses and blacksmith shops. The museum also hosts varieties events and programs through the year, including educational workshops and cultural festivals, fostering a connection between the past and present-day Frisco community. By preserving and sharing Frisco history, the Frisco Heritage Museum inspires pride and identity among residents, playing a cultural role in shaping the future. It serves as a reminder of the community roots and encourages future generations to build upon the legacy of the past. Visit the Frisco Heritage Museum to enrich your understanding of the past and inspire a brighter future. This is all for today. Thank you for tuning on to my real estate postcard. I will see you on my next episode. And remember, Mr. Frisco bringing you home.